From the Huntington Bank Studio, this is Colts 360.
Pascal, as always, bringing all that pregame energy, and we are bringing you a brand new episode of Colts 360 as the team is now back home to face the Bengals. But before we preview that final game before the bye week, Anthony Walker Jr. was mic'd up as the team played the other team from Ohio last weekend and recorded 2 interceptions for the 3rd time this season.
Yeah! All details, all details. Let's do our job. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Just do our job. Let's lock in. Finish every play. Let them feel us, like Coach said. Let them feel us. LB's on 3, 1, 2, 3. LB's! Let's see what that number 1 run game talking about. Whoa! Let's see what that number 1 run game talking about. Let's go. Let's see what they talking about. 40. We gotta shut the run down. We gotta shut the run down. Let's go. They got too much. Be alert. Be alert. Screen and draw. Let's be alert all game. Boot. Oh crap. Screen. Tight end screen. They gonna give us something. Be alert. Logo shot. Be alert. Shot. Rise up. Hey, rise up, D. 40. Go. Go. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Hey, good try, though.
Kicks off back to Indianapolis at the goal line. Here's Isaiah Rodgers, right side, and it's going to slip out of a tackle, still going. He's at midfield.
Don't score. Don't score. Don't score. Don't score.
He's going to go. He's at the 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Isaiah Rodgers. 101-yard return. Touchdown, INTY.
Let's go. Let's go. Good boy. Oh, yes, sir. Rock. I like that.
Mayfield has time in the pocket. He's hit as he throws.
Y'all talking about? Y'all talking about?
It's a pick. Second of the day for the Colts. First of the season for Anthony Walker.
Big time left, let's big play. Go, 5-4. Big time 5-4, let's go.
You just saw him mic'd up on the field at Cleveland. Now linebacker Anthony Walker Jr. joins us on Colts 360. Anthony, your personality off the field, you're pretty poised, pretty composed. Then you get on the field and you kind of flip that switch. From what we saw on that mic up, explain your demeanor when it gets to game day when you come out of that tunnel.
Yeah, like you said, you got to flip a switch. Coach Flus talks about that 48-hour preparation. Your candle starts to burn, and as it gets closer to game time, it's kind of like a rocket taking off once you run out in this kickoff time. You just got to go. I try to stay, like you said, poised and real chill off the field, but sometimes I don't know what you guys heard on that mic'd up, but that's just on game day, so I promise you.
Well, it's easy to get fired up, especially when you have an interception against Cleveland. That was now your 3rd game of the season with 2 interceptions by this defense. Take me through what you saw on that interception that you had at Cleveland, the opportunity then that created for the team.
Yeah, just kind of dropped back into my area. Was trying to get a feel for where the quarterback wanted to go with the ball. I knew I had a route coming from the other side of the field that I wanted to kind of steal from him. And he kind of waited and didn't throw it, and then I actually just saw the ball come out, and it was like, spinning out of control, and I'm like, oh, Lord. And I just, tried to focus on the catch. Actually, once I ended up catching it, I rolled, and I'm like, all right, I can get up. And then, try to get as many return yards as possible. But, as you go back and you watch, that's kind of how we talk about our defense working together. Good coverage by the secondary. making them hold the ball, and then, you know, Justin Houston puts a great hit on the quarterback, and boom, the ball just falls into my lap. So that's what you talk about with all 11 guys working together, you know, for, you know, a greater goal for the team.
This entire defense loves to celebrate those takeaways. No one more so than Darius Leonard, especially when you guys go into the end zone and you get the photo op when you have those occasions. How much did it kill him to be on the sidelines, not out there on the field with you guys? And what did he say to you once you came off the field after that INT?
I mean, it definitely hurt him. You know, he's a competitor. You know, every competitor wants to be out there on the field, you know, at all times. You know he's battling some, you know, issues right now, but, you know, again, as fast as he can be on the field, he will be on the field, and we all know that. So it definitely hurt him not being out there. He was very excited about the interception, obviously. You know, that's my boy. So, you know, he's always excited for, you know, anything that, you know, we do well as a defense. But, you know, you definitely feel, you know, a little special when it's somebody that you're really, really close to. So I couldn't make it to the end zone this time. I didn't want to, actually. I was headed that way, but I was like so focused on, you know, I wanted to win the game so bad that I was like, man, let's just, you know, let's find a way to win this game. So, but yeah, it was a big moment for us.
You mentioned Darius battling that groin injury. What are the adjustments that you and the rest of the linebackers have to make most when you don't have Darius out on the field with you?
Yeah, Darius brings a very unique style of playmaking, of just punching the ball out or creating turnovers. You know, again, he's all over the field and everything like that. So, you know, for us to get 2 turnovers in the linebacker room itself was pretty big for us because, you know, that's what he brings. He brings that. And, again, the communication, all that stuff has to go up to another level. But, you know, without him being out there, obviously, me moving over to the wheel position, Bobby, you know, starting at Mike. So I thought we played okay. Definitely feel that we can always play better. And again, a lot of plays that we left on the field as a defense, we understand that. We played a great team, a great opponent, but we'll learn from it and continue to move forward.
For the most part, this defense has been dominant through the early part of the season, the top-ranked defense in the NFL. What has this dynamic been, this catalyst for your defense through the early part of the season?
Yeah, it starts with the engine up front. We know the D-line kind of runs our defense, and you have 4 guys you know, starters, but, you know, we want to say 9 guys that can stop the run and rush the passer. It makes our jobs a lot easier in the back end. So, you know, those guys, you know, they're doing their job up front against the run and making it a lot easier for the linebackers and stuff to flow over and make tackles. And then in coverage, you know, each week we're getting better as far as our coverage. But also, you know, the quarterbacks feel the pressure from the D-line. So again, it all starts with that engine up front, and you know, that they're our catalyst right now.
Coach Reich described you as the heart and soul of this team last week. What does that mean to you to hear that from your head coach? What was your reaction when you heard yourself described that way by your head coach?
You know, definitely, again, it's a proud moment. You know, you get to get that compliment right there. You know, you always, you know, again, it was a special moment, but also, you know, my dad always told me to whom much is given, much is required. And, you know, with that, you know, I understand that I'm required to play, you know, how I'm required to play for this team. You know, selfless, you know, being a communicator, being a leader, doing all the little things, you know, I take pride in that. So, again, definitely appreciate Coach for, you know, speaking that highly of me, but I have to go out and earn it every day. And, you know, again, that's just you know, it's just a mindset that you have to have every day. You have to earn it. And, again, it starts over this week.
This week, you're back at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have a dynamic young quarterback. You mentioned that defensive line, the effectiveness that they have had in pressuring quarterbacks so far through the first 5 weeks. What's the big task ahead now as you guys welcome in Cincinnati this weekend to Lucas Oil Stadium?
Yeah, another big game for us because it's the next game. You know, we want to get back on track. Again, offensively, they present a lot of challenges. Joey Burrow, that was a great player, in college football last year. I watched just about every game. Loved the way he played quarterback. My dad being an offensive guy, we would sit there and watch the games and talk about how he moved well in the pocket and all that stuff. More athletic than you think he is. So we have to be ready for him to move around in the pocket. Has a great arm. They have a great run game with Mixon. Good O-line, good tight ends, good receivers. We have to bring our A game, and that's every week. But this week right here, quarterback that can extend plays, get out the pocket, dangerous running back. We have our hands full this week, and we have to be ready for the challenge.
Glad to have you guys back home. Looking forward to a good one on Sunday. Anthony, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Still ahead, Coach Reich previews the challenge at hand as the Colts welcome Joe Burrow and the Bengals. That's next on Colts 360. Back now on Colts 360 and joined by head coach Frank Reich. Coach, despite the loss in Cleveland, I know you said at the beginning of the week, no moral victories, but how much growth can there be from an effort like Sunday in which your team showed immense fight, made some significant adjustments in the second half defensively, and you got that really solid kickoff return from Isaiah Rodgers that provided a strong spark to your team late?
Yeah, no doubt, Lara. We actually talked about this at the very beginning of the year, that during the course of the year, there would be a game or two that we're going to lose, but still find ways to get better and still find positive things out of it. Not as a moral victory, but just knowing that this is a long race. So those are great examples. The kickoff return, we made some good strides in the run game. And then the effort, the fight to keep going. The way the defense came out in the second half and kind of shut them down in the second half. So lots of good things to take from that and build for this week.
Lots of good things in terms of interceptions, because those are apparently just coming in pairs for your defense. Both Bobby Okereke and Anthony Walker Jr. getting interceptions against Cleveland. What is your defense doing so well that has created these opportunities? Because this is now the third game in the early part of the season that your defense has posted at least 2 interceptions.
Yeah, just very opportunistic. On A-walks, Justin Houston got good pressure, kind of caused an errant throw. And on Bobby just makes a great play. He gets good depth in his drop. He reads it and makes a good play. So, I just think it's the accumulation of good pressure up front and guys playing disciplined coverage and then having guys who are playmakers. So we need to keep that going.
Offensively, you've had 4 times this season you've opened things up with an opening drive touchdown. So you've been able to establish that quick rhythm early on in games, but had difficulty sustaining it. You mentioned that finding that offensive rhythm consistently has been one of the struggles. Is that something that you reinforce in practice? Can that come from the work throughout the week? Or do you just trust that that's something that's really going to fall into place? Yeah,
it's a little of all of those things. Some of it's just we're going to continue to get better, and some of it is right. We have started off exceedingly well in these opening drives. Of course, the goal is to score every time we touch it. We know that's not always going to happen. So the thing is, hey, just keep getting better every week. Keep finding ways to improve, and then you also have to factor in, Lara, the idea that the flow of the game sometimes dictates. You're calling it differently. Those are all factors that go into it. But more than anything else, where we need to find our rhythm is in situational football, like converting on third down. That's an area that we really got to get better at. And then red zone as well. Those are 2 primary areas that we're really putting a lot of emphasis on.
Something else that I know you've emphasized is chunk plays, and a couple of those going to Marcus Johnson and Ashton Dulin. What have each of those guys shown you in recent weeks? Marcus is, of course, the established veteran. Ashton, the young developing receiver, in terms of how they can step up and help fill that void that you have with no Michael Pittman Jr. and no Paris Campbell.
Yeah, well, you're right. With Michael Pittman out and Paris out, these are guys. Both these guys kind of have size and speed. They're not 6'3" or 6'4", but they're both bigger receivers, and they're both really fast. So credit to both of those guys. They've come in. Marcus now for a couple games has come in and made some big plays. For Ashton, that was exciting. For him, really kind of his first big play as a receiver for us.
special teams has really played well for you guys consistently over the first part of the season, and you add to that now the performance of Isaiah Rodgers with that 101-yard kickoff return. What does he add to your special teams unit in terms of that new weapon that you have on kickoff return?
I mean, it's just big play capability. You can feel his speed on the field, even when we're out at practice, and he gets a ball and starts to take off. You just feel his speed is a notch above everybody else on the field. So that's exciting, and he can bring that to us. Now, even though he brings that, it still takes the rest of those 10 guys doing their job and blocking it, and Bubba and Frankie scheming up a good return. And our special teams has really been a bright spot for us the first 5 games. We've been playing very well there. And then when you start adding the element of the big play, like the kickoff return, that can make things pretty special.
Your opponent now back at home this week as you welcome the Cincinnati Bengals, who have that young dynamic quarterback in Joe Burrow. He has weapons like Joe Mixon, but also Joe Burrow's been sacked a league-high 22 times already this season. Then defensively, just last week against the Baltimore Ravens, they held Lamar Jackson to just 3 yards rushing, obviously a season low, and then one of his lower performances in terms of percentage completion. Despite only having 1 win so far this season, where are the Bengals a challenge in terms of what they bring this weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Well, like you said, Joe Burrow is, he's the number 1 pick. He's the real deal. He's already shown that. I mean, not only is he an excellent passer, but he's very athletic. So, defense will really have to play a great game this week and contain him and keep him from getting out of the pocket, and then put the pressure on him. Because they do have weapons. We've got to stop that run. Joe Mixon is an excellent running back, and they can run the football. So that'll be the challenge for the defense. And offensively, as you said, this defense is a good defense. I mean, not that you put too much weight into the statistics, but against the pass, they rank very high, as you alluded to, with what they did against Baltimore last year. They've done that same thing against some other teams as well. So we're just going to have to. It's going to have to be a healthy mix between run and pass. And we have to be efficient. And then, like I alluded to earlier, we got to be especially good in 3rd down in the red zone.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thank you, Lara.
Sets up, throws right side, it's picked off. 3rd of the day for the Colts. The Colts are running the other way with it at the 20. TJ Carey, and Carey turns it all the way in to a pick 6.
The last time the Colts were at home, the defense did that. Up next, TJ Carey explains how he used Xavier Rhodes' pick 6 to find an opportunity of his own. That's next.
We are the Indianapolis Colts. We believe it's our duty to get 1% better every day, no matter what it takes. On this journey, we're always moving forward. Together.
1, 2, 3.
This isn't about one person. It's about a team built on character, trust, and toughness. With a commitment to entertain, inspire, and unite by winning the right way. For our brothers, for Indiana, for the shoe.
Defend home turf they have. The Colts look to remain undefeated at Lucas Oil Stadium so far this season. The Colts lead the NFL in interceptions, 9 so far on the early part of the season, and one of those was TJ Carey's very first pick 6 as a pro. The veteran corner breaks it down for us on the latest Director's Cut.
Me and Zave are always trying to switch up things that we give the looks for the quarterback.
Let me go 3. 1, 2, 3.
Zave had already had the pick 6 to start the game.
Touchdown, Xavier Rhodes.
Then he had another pick.
Another pick for Rhodes.
When we went into halftime, I said, Xavier, man, can I just get one of those things, man? Let me just borrow one. And he was like, you gonna get one. I'm talking to him about what he's seen and the route concepts that he's getting on his side. And I'm thinking, okay, I might get some of those as well. As we start to get in the third quarter with a lead, we're able to call exotic things. The disguises that we were able to give him really confused him, and you force him to make a couple bad throws, you just got to be there to capitalize. D. Leonard, he's coming, blitzing through the B gap, putting the quarterback in a tough situation. I can see the quarterback and I'm thinking to myself, did he really throw this ball? Catch the ones to come to you. The catch is always the most important part. Put them Jets on, party at the end zone after that. I was so not used to being in the end zone that I told myself I was gonna do something, but it kind of all went out the window. Just go celebrate with your teammates, man. We've done it together. You know, it's a team effort when you can get plays like that.
Yeah, TJ! Man, that's easy money, cuz. That's easy money.
You go into halftime, you make adjustments. Okay, what did you see? What did I see? Let's feed off of that and let's go out there and give them something different. And it all just came into fruition. You speak it into existence and it happened. You know, anybody can do it one time. You know, can you do it again? So consistency is definitely the key this week. Let's go out there and dominate again. You know, figure out ways that are going to put us in the best situation to get back in that end zone like we've done a couple times.
It's picked off, and Carey turns it all the way in to a pick six. Two of them on the day for the Colts.
From all of us at Colts Productions, thanks for spending part of your weekend and getting ready for game day with us right here on Colts 360. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we will see you right back here next week.